Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Mr. Budehas, your online math teacher. In today's video, you will learn inverse variation. This is the second type of variation. I already discussed the first type, which is the direct variation. Now in this video, I'll be talking about inverse variation. Let's start. Inverse variation, it is a type of variation between two quantities wherein as one increases, the other one decreases. And when one decreases, the other one increases. For example, the time it takes to finish a task and the number of people working. This illustrates an inverse variation since the time needed increases if fewer people are working and decreases if more people are working. Equation of inverse variation. It is a mathematical sentence that describes the relationship between two quantities that are inversely proportional. The statement y varies inversely as x is written as y is equal to k over x, where k is the constant of the variation. The key word here is the word inversely. So if in the statement there is this word inversely, then your translation would be of this pattern. Y is equal to k over x. For example, if y varies inversely as x and y is 8 when x is 3, what is the equation of the variation? To solve this, we need to transform the variation statement into a mathematical sentence, then substitute the values of x and y to solve for k. So the translation here is y is equal to k over x. And we are going to substitute the values of x and y to solve for k. Our y is 8 and x is 3 as given. Then multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of the fraction. And then we have 3 divided by 3 is 1 and 1 times k is k. And on the other side, 3 times 8 is 24. Therefore, the value of k is 24. Then let's go back to our original equation, which is y is equal to k over x. Then substitute the value of k there, which is 24. So that we have y is equal to 24 over x. And this is now our equation. Okay, let's try more examples. Number 1, if c varies inversely as d, and c is equal to 12 when d is equal to 5, what is the equation of the variation? To solve this, our first step will be translate the variation statement into a mathematical equation. So our statement is if c varies inversely as d, the translation for that is c is equal to k over d. After we translate, we are now going to solve for k. Use the values for c, which is equal to 12, and d is 5 to solve for k. We have substitute c is 12 and d is 5. Then multiply both sides by the denominator 5. So we have 5 times 12 is 60. And k over 5 times 5 is just k. because 5 divided by 5 is 1 and 1 times k is k. Then substitute the value of k to the original equation to find the equation of the variation. Here we have the original equation, c is equal to k over d. Then just substitute the value of k, which is 60. So that we have c is equal to 60 over d. And this is now the working equation. Example number 2. If z varies inversely as x and z is 9 when x is 14, find z when x is 21. Here, we don't just get the equation of the variation, but we are going to use that equation to find the value of z when x is 21. Here's the solution. First, translate the variation statement into a mathematical equation. The statement is if z varies inversely as x. So the translation for that is z is equal to k over x. Next, use the value of z, which is 9, and x, which is 14, to solve for k. Z is equal to k over x. Substitute the values for z and x. We have 9 is equal to k over 14. Then multiply both sides by 14. So we have 19 times or 14 times 9 is equal to 126. And k over 14 times 14 is just k. Then write the equation of the variation. Just substitute the value for k. We have the original equation is z is equal to k over x. Then substitute the value of k, which is 126. So the equation or the working equation of the inverse variation is z is equal to 126 over x. And use this working equation to find the value of z. Substitute the value of x, which is 21, to find z. Z is equal to 126 over x. This is the working equation. Then substitute the value of x, which is 21. 126 divided by 21 is 6. Therefore, the value of z when x is 21 is 6. Example number 3. Find the variation constant and the equation of variation when d varies inversely as j and d is 12 when j is 48. Find d when j is 10. Here's the solution. First, translate the mathematical expression or equation for the statement d varies inversely as j. And this is the translation. D is equal to k over j. Then substitute the given values for d and j. We have 12 is equal to k over 28. Now solve for k. Multiply both sides by 48. K over 48 times 48 is k. And 48 times 12 is 576. Therefore, the constant of the variation is 526. Now use this value for k to make an equation or the general equation. We have d is equal to 576 over j. This is now our working equation. And solve for d. D is equal to 576. The given value for j is 10. 576 divided by 10 is 57.6. Therefore, The value for D when J is 10 is 57.6. Now I'm done with my discussion. I want you to solve these two problems in individual practice, and please comment your answers so that I can check if your answers are correct. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching.